everyone, welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. 'Tis I, Captain Logan, and joining me this evening is the return of the four horsemen of the Geekpocalypse. First of all, right next to me is Brandon of the Grims.
Hello, everyone.
DJ of the Martinitinuses. And Dan Torrey.
Hey there.
Dan, you're back.
Hi, Dan. Welcome back to the program, sir.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Tonight, we're going to do a straight-up Ask Us Anything show. Feel free to ask things to me, Brandon, DJ, Dan, all four of us collectively. Whatever you guys want to talk about tonight, we're not going to do any kind of a lead-in topic. For the first time in a good long time, the lead-in topic is, I got this insane band back together. And I don't know when the last time the four of us all broadcast. If I had my druthers, this would be the show. It would be the four of us every time. I love it when we all get together. I love it when a plan comes together, Dan. So now we're all four back. I mean, I think it's been 6-7 months probably.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can't remember the last time, actually, because I was on the show relatively recently, but Brandon wasn't here, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you did one like 2 or 3 weeks ago. So you guys have both been on the program a lot recently. But not all of us. This is always a real fun dynamic. We also tonight, folks, are going to have a new episode of Captain Logan After Dark, and all four of us will be here for that as well. So join us, because I can't say anything else on this show besides there's going to be more reading. So look forward.
Yeah, Dan, you don't even know what you missed.
Look forward. I don't think Dan knows about the reading.
No.
Look forward to that. Yeah. I know I am. I'm going to need you guys to give me a recap of all of that, because it's been 3 weeks and I don't know how well I'm going to remember.
I'll just say this.
The plot?
I thought earlier today it would be funny if we could have recaps, just because, like, we're following this person through this dreadful
narrative.
Even call it a novel?
Not yet.
But anyway.
Yeah, I can't say anything else, but it's an uncensored show. We talk about all kinds of things we wouldn't usually talk about on the program, and we also sometimes read things we wouldn't usually read on the program. We're going through this entire insane book that Brandon found, and that's all I can say. It will change your whole life, I'm sure. Tomorrow night is the premiere of the finale of the epic, insane 56,000 word Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice rewind. The last part is 1 hour and 48 minutes, so strap in. And then next week will be, hopefully, if all things go well, the Justice League rewind. I am behind on that, but I'm hoping to get that out on time. And anyway, that's all the news that's fit to print. So the premiere tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. I will be in the comments to chat with you guys. Anybody that wants to come in and listen to that. We've had a great turnout. I want to say thanks to everybody who's been coming in and listening to those. As always, if you want to make sure that your question, comment, topic is talked about on air, you can leave a super chat in any dollar amount. That helps us keep this train chugging along. We are 85-90% funded by the audience, so everybody's great that has ever done that or will ever do that. Really appreciate you guys, but don't worry, we'll answer as many pre-written things as possible as well, and we're gonna go ahead and get right into it. DJ, why don't you just start chucking the questions at us, man? Just chuck them.
Like batarangs?
Chuck away.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah. Do you chuck a batarang?
I'm not sure, actually.
I want to see a Batman with really crappy aim who's just like, eh.
Jedi Knight, $5. Hey guys, if you could remake a movie that you liked, which would it be? Here's $5.
Here's $5. The phrase continues. I'm wondering if Here's $5 is here tonight, because I haven't seen him. I don't think he's been around, DJ, since the charity show. I think it's the last time we saw Here's $5.
Well, that broke his bank account, so he had to step away from the channel for a little bit.
Well, the problem with his name is that he never leaves a super chat without also $5. So he's not going to just comment in the comments. Like, every time he comments, he leaves $5. That's a really cool question. Yeah. So what was it? Remaking a thing you like, or just improving on a thing you like?
Remaking a movie that you do like.
Dan, what's a movie that you like that you actually would be okay seeing remade?
I guess the obvious answer is The Force Awakens. That's the one that I like, that I would like to see remade, just because in retrospect there's a lot of things about it I would change, especially like things with Finn's characterization. I think like him as a character is like set up in an interesting way. Like he's a ex-space Nazi, but like he eventually becomes like goofy comic relief, like almost immediately in the movie. I'd want him to be characterized a little bit differently, I suppose. And there's a bunch of other things I think I would change about it. So that's my answer.
I have a hard time saying if I still like that movie, just because a lot of what was really cool about it was like mysteries it was setting up, and I was curious to see what would happen next. And now that it's just like a third of a thing that it didn't keep doing, like I have a hard time even saying if I still like that. I don't know if I can go back to it, Dan.
No, that's fair. That's totally fair. I still like it as a standalone thing. I love Adam Driver in that movie.
Yeah, me too.
And the stuff with Han too. I mean, I think there's a lot of good in that movie around some also like cringy, repetitive things from the prior movies as well. It's definitely a mixed bag, but I still enjoy it to some degree.
You know what? And you're totally right. You know what hurts my feelings about it and why it's hard to go back to? I fell in love with Rey, man. And then after that, she was just nothing. Like,
yeah.
I wanted to collect that character. Like, I really liked her.
No, yeah, I think all the cast in the first one's really great, with what they're given anyway. You know, I don't like the way Boyega's characterized in the script, but he does a good job with his stuff, and Isaac, too. He's great. Yeah.
But man, like, I thought she was going to be my Luke Skywalker, and it just did not work out that way. It hurts my feelings. Brandon, do you have a good answer to this?
I am searching for something over
spacing.
here. Well, I haven't been
spacing. I'm pretty stumped, too.
Have you ever seen movies? You know about
I've seen
those?
plenty of movies.
Oh,
my go-to that I came up with a couple minutes ago was going to be something that I consider an absolute classic, and like usually don't touch it, but Hook. I really like that movie, but I wouldn't mind seeing.
Could improve on that material potentially.
I wouldn't mind seeing it.
It would be a strange thing to remake. It'd be a weird risk. I don't know that anybody would care about that.
Right?
But no, I don't disagree with that. That could work. DJ, do you have an answer?
Now I'm just trying to think who would be the childlike 40-year-old actor that would play him. It's like, is it Kevin Hart? Is Kevin Hart Peter Pan in that version? I don't know. No, I don't have a good answer.
It's Neil Patrick Harris.
He's pushing 50.
I feel like he could make a good Pan though.
Yeah, but he looks really good for 50. He could still do it. I mean, you know what we would do? We would just cast the same person we casted anything. It would be it'd be the Star-Lord guy, right?
Oh, Chris Pratt.
It'd be Chris Pratt. Because we make Chris Pratt everything.
Actually, yeah, it's kind of.
Yeah, that's actually probably
he's a
what
bit of a funny man
That's
too,
who it would be. Or it could be Chris Pine or Pratt. And Pine plays.
Pine.
And Pine plays fathers really well. So that's probably the answer.
So
right?
yeah, and I buy Pine as like younger Pine being like a little boy imp.
Yeah.
In Neverland.
Okay, so I suck at fan casting. But I freaking nailed that.
Yeah. You got that one. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm sorry, DJ. Do you have a thing?
I don't have one. You can go ahead.
Okay, my answer is the brave little toaster.
Okay. All right.
Don't 3D it though. Really make it like really similar to the same animation, but just fix that terrible, absurd third act and make the songs better, or don't have songs. It still should be creepy, and it should make children have nightmares, because that's what was great about that movie. But I think you could improve the story a lot, and I think that it shouldn't have songs. We're going to do a blind commentary on that at some point. And by blind, I just mean I'm not going to go back and rewatch it again. And I don't think DJ's seen it either since he was a kid or at all. I forget.
Yeah, I've seen one of the Toaster movies as a kid. I don't know if it was the first one.
Well, and we could do a deep dive and see if those are the commentaries that get 0 views, because I've never seen Brave Little Toaster Goes to Mars. And I'll totally do a blind commentary on that.
They made that.
They did. I think that was just the second one. I think there was even a third one after that.
Oh my god.
I mean, we could do a whole Mars Mania. There's so many Mars movies.
Mars Mania.
I'm down for a Mars Mania.
No,
Mars Moms. Did you guys see that one?
Every movie would be bad until you got to The Martian, which is one of the best films ever made. But you'd have like My Favorite Martian and
oh yeah. John Carter. John Carter is a Mars movie.
Yeah, and I've never seen that. Okay, Mars Mania is a really good idea for the 90s. That would get fewer views than Power Rangers, I think.
Mars Mania. That's
oh my
amazing.
god, that's
on a 24-hour stream.
That's fantastic. Oh yeah, you're right. That's the way to do that.
Yeah,
just make us all fall asleep. All right, DJ, let's do something else.
All right, John Kelling. If y'all are the 4 horsemen, who is Apocalypse?
Ooh, that's great. My answer is Sarah.
Oh no.
Well,
I don't even know what that means.
We're going back to
know
what
if
we
that's
all
what you
distinguished
called it.
ourselves as at the beginning.
What?
The four horsemen.
Right. Yep. What's your point?
So who's the what was the question?
The question was, if you guys are the four horsemen, who is Apocalypse?
Who is Apocalypse?
Apocalypse.
Oh, okay.
What did you think the question was?
I thought he said pestilence or something.
He's like, do you
Who is
realize
Pestilence?
that they're going back to the thing we used to call ourselves? Did you see the title? Like, the whole thing is the
no,
four
I know
horsemen.
that. No, that's not what I'm asking. I thought he said something
Does
like.
anybody have a better Apocalypse? Brandon
Yeah,
doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I lost. Game over, man.
You get
Game
nothing.
We could remake that movie with Michael Jackson looking Wonka.
Oh, that's a great idea. Let's do that. Let's give him weird goggly things.
I still have not seen that.
Well, that's why your brain thanks you.
It does.
All right, let's keep going.
All right, the day goes $6.99 in
Hi,
Canada,
Austin.
whatever that is. Cap, after a month of BVS.
Dude, you know he's from Canada.
I know, and that's why I make fun of him
Oh, you
for
just
it every
make
time I
fun.
can.
Okay.
Every chance I get. Cap, after a month of BVS, do you need some sort of salvation?
So
I
Austin
know
likes
he's
to
Terminator
troll me.
salvation.
Well, that's why he said that, because
Yeah.
he and I are going through the Terminator movies, and I don't know if you know that.
I
We're
watched
doing
the first one
we're doing
with you.
We're doing the Terminator movies together, and that's the next one we have to do. So he's doing that whole thing. No, I need a nap, is what I need. Yeah,
Well,
I've not.
salvation will give you a great one.
Not been getting a lot of sleep. I mean, like I wrote that whole thing in 4 weeks, and it's short novel length. So like, you know, to put it in perspective, I wrote Edible States in 8 weeks, 2 to 3 hours a day, which was crazy, and that was 100,000 words, and I did 56,000 in about 3.5 weeks. So I wrote that even faster for the length that it is, and spent in insane amount of time on that. I just could not stop writing about it. Dan, I got addicted to writing about BVS.
Yeah, it seemed like it. When you were talking about how many words, I was like, oh my god, that's going to be like twice as long as the movie.
And it is. Yeah,
And it
I don't mean
is.
to I'm not trying to brag about the word count. I'm embarrassed about the word count. That's why I keep bringing it up.
You
'Cause I can't believe I
related
did
that to
that.
me on a number of occasions. Actually, we've talked. Every time you talk about it, I'm just like, this thing's. He's going to tell me this thing is ballooned, and he's like trying to keep it down. And sure enough,
It was supposed to be 2 parts, and then it was
3.
supposed to be 3 parts, and I announced it as 3 parts in the first video, so I had to make fun of myself for lying when we got to part 3, because I already knew it was going to be 4 parts at that point, so I opened it up and I said, you know what the greatest lie is on Geekvolution? That Captain Logan is ever right about length. DGMC says I need an exorcism.
the power of Christ compels you.
Well, then he says the power of Feige compels you.
Oh.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. Day Ghost in with another $6.99 super chat. I don't like Dan. He has wrong think. Can he please be fired? He doesn't deserve to work.
Canceled.
Wow.
By the way,
Dan's
I think he's
canceled.
also going to be on After Dark
Canceled.
Leaders, so Dan, you could totally fight him.
Oh, so he's Apocalypse.
Wanna fight
Maybe
about
Austin is
Yes, he
Apocalypse.
is. Yeah.
We're
Thanks,
preparing
Austin.
the way for Austin. Thanks, Austin. Lightning City, $4.99. What are your thoughts on Superman and Lois maybe taking the Brightburn route with one of their kids?
Yeah. It looks like at the moment it could still go that way or not. It's hard to say. I liked both of the twins a lot more in the second episode. I think that they're beginning to really earn the angst with them. Let me just more broadly say I still am adoring that show. I was really happy with the pilot. I've watched it twice more and liked it more every time. Now the second episode's out, and I've seen it twice now, and it's wonderful. I just can't stop looking at that show. I'm really happy with it. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to reveal things for people that haven't seen it yet. I don't think
Yeah, I still
anybody
wanna
else
see it.
here has watched it yet. But you're right, and I said that in the pilot that it looked like we might have a good son and a bad son situation, which is interesting because one of them is named after Jonathan and the other one is named after Jor-El, and there's kind of this fun idea that one of them might go bad over the other one. I don't want to say too much, but I've always loved Tyler Hoechlin as Superman, and finally he's got his own show, which is what I always wanted to happen, and it's not made like a CW show. And I'm learning that, and I didn't know this when we reviewed the pilot, Austin and I'm learning that HBO Max seems to be fitting the part of, if not all of the bill for this, and they're producing it, and that's apparently why the production values are so high, and possibly why the writing is so good. One thing I'll say about the second episode is that there is a big ethical debate about a kind of hot button issue that it gives both sides of the argument, like really reasonable arguments. And I don't ever see that on TV anymore. And it had CW in the corner with a watermark while I was watching that. I was like, what is happening? It's amazing. It's an argument about like a living wage versus people who are about to starve and don't have anything and having something at all. Like, it's that argument, and both sides of it are given equal credence, and you can decide for yourself where you land. And what is happening? Like, we don't have this anymore, and it's in a Superman show, which is where it should be. And it's in a Superman show about Smallville, which is an actual small town in this universe. And like it's everything Superman should be, it's everything Smallville should have always been. It's not perfect. I've got issues with it, but overall I'm very, very happy with it. One thing, I'm not gonna have time to make a review for the second episode. I want to do all of them because I'm enjoying the show so much, but I'm not gonna take the time to do it. So I guess if somebody asks about it, I'll occasionally do maybe a tiny mini review. In this show, one thing I want to mention real quick, a tiny detail that I was floored by, because they understand small towns in the Midwest. Their Smallville High has like portable like outside buildings in the school. I never see that on TV. That is a thing in small towns where like the school is not all just one building. They'll have to expand, but they don't have the money to really build onto the buildings, so they'll have like little extra portable buildings. I went to a couple schools when I was a kid that had that.
Same here.
That's what Smallville should have looked like. No, 45,000 people in that small town. Everything about it, or nearly everything about it, I'm very excited about. And they've already won me over on Lois. I said she was my least favorite part of the first episode. I got what she was doing better in the second time I saw it. In the second episode, she's great, and both of their names should be in the title because it is about both of them. And yeah, even a lot of the negative things I said in that first video I did on it, I no longer agree with myself on. It's wonderful. I'm so excited.
Wow, that's awesome. John Ty, what are your favorite runs, miniseries, and events from either DC or Marvel?
So just like favorite stories in general?
Yeah, you cover the gamut.
So I've been doing this for 12 years. I think Dan should go first.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in terms of like favorite runs, Spider-Man is my favorite character, so I guess I'll pick Stan Lee and Ditko and Romita's run on that book. Like the first 100 issues of Amazing Spider-Man are really good. I like Frank Miller's Daredevil a lot. Peter David's run on the Hulk. Those are like the three big Marvel runs. Oh, and like Simonton's Thor too. I like a lot of the Silver to Bronze Age Marvel stuff. That's kind of like my favorite era of Marvel. And then with DC stuff, I like a lot of the 90s runs. I like Mark Waid's run on The Flash and Peter David's run on Aquaman. So those are some of the ones I like.
DJ, I know you're not as big of a comic reader, but do you have a couple things you can throw out?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Bendis's Ultimate run. I've only read it up to a certain point, but yeah, I like that a lot. I really liked what's the Hawkeye run with David Aja? Who's the writer on that? Is that
Fraction?
Yeah, Matt Fraction. Love Matt Fraction's
Yeah,
Hawkeye run. That's really good. I liked Wade's Daredevil run. I know that's not like
Me too.
the popular opinion, but that's the only Daredevil run I've read, so I really like that. So
Dan was also a fan. No, everybody here that's read that is a fan of that.
I'm just prepping for the comments that
The
are coming
onslaught?
like, oh, Wade's Daredevil run.
It's interesting because I feel like when that run was coming out, there were some people who didn't like it, but it was a very small minority of people. I feel like in later years it's gotten a little bit more divisive, I guess. I don't know. Like when it was going on, I feel like it was pretty universally loved.
I think it's
But
because we went kind of back to what people were used to, and so that looks like such an outlier. People that haven't read it are like, oh, that looks like, Kitty Silver Age stuff, and it's like, no, it's not that. It looks more that way as far as the art goes. That juxtaposition is part of why it was so great, because it had some of the stuff in that is more chilling than anything in the one or two after it.
The Mole Man stuff with his dad, the Spot stuff, that's horrifying.
yeah, they get pretty dark. I mean, it's very like Silver Agey and like the situations that Wade puts Daredevil in, but I feel like he does a good job of blending like the darker tone with the Stan Lee Silver Agey stuff that he takes inspiration from for like the villain plots and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the thematic stuff is just as dark as maybe not the Miller stuff, but some of the other writers that came after him, like Ann Nocchetti and stuff like that. So
one thing we also forget, that was the first time that a lot of people that weren't just huge Daredevil fans that always read that book were talking about Daredevil for a long time, besides Shadowland being bad. Like Daredevil was very much put back on the map by Wade, and I think has kind of stayed there, partly because of Wade. I think you have to give him credit for that.
I think so too. And the new run by Chip Zdarsky, from what I read, is amazing.
I've heard great things. I've not touched that yet.
It's really good.
So if you're just meeting me for the first time, I guess I'll mention a couple of things real quick.
Well, hi, my name's Brandon.
Hi, Brandon. Brandon doesn't have an answer because he doesn't read comics.
That is correct, more or less. I mean, I don't read anything in those universes. I used to read Futurama comics.
Sure.
That's about it.
Well,
though.
and Bongo has some great stuff in the Futurama and Simpsons books.
Yeah, I used to get the Simpsons ones too. I love both of them.
The quality's always been really high with Simpsons. You can't really go wrong with that. And I've mentioned this before, I've got a review of this recorded that's not posted yet. Austin and I did, but the Simpsons Futurama crossover is one of the greatest things ever, and it's very funny and worth reading. And it's a great parody of crises in comics. So even if you're not a Futurama or Simpsons person, if you're into comics, it's definitely worth reading. I guess I'll just throw out a few things real fast. That weren't mentioned already. I'll say I'll kind of second everything those guys said, because I don't think anybody brought up anything I've not read at least some of. Dan and I reviewed a lot of, or maybe no, I think we reviewed all of Simonson's Thor together. And that was the first time I had read through it. But yeah, so I'll mention Remender's Venom, of course. I'll mention, let's see, Klaus is one of my favorite things now. And then Grant Morrison. And then you've got, what else should I mention? Obviously, I'm always talking about No Man's Land and Death of Superman and Nightfall. Those are all some of my favorite DC things from the mid-90s. Bendis' Daredevil, what I've read of it. I need to go back and do more of that. And almost none of Spawn. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah, The Day Ghost. Another $6.99. He's apparently just the $6.99 guy. If you guys are the Four Horsemen,
here's $6.99.
Yeah, Canada dollars. The Day Ghost. If you guys are the Four Horsemen, I guess that makes me the Bosley for After Dark.
I don't know what that means.
The what?
Bosley? I don't know what that means either. Sorry, Austin. Is that a Canadian thing?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the Canadian.
We made you Apocalypse already. I don't know why you need another moniker.
I think this was before that. He probably regrets putting that one in.
He's been cringing the whole time. Oh crap! He's probably gone now, because I think he's at work still.
I've looked it up, and Bosley is like a hair implants company.
No, Bosley is a hair implant company.
Yeah. I don't think that's what he meant though.
I don't think so either. That's not the name of the guy in Charlie's Angels, is it?
Anyway, let's keep going, shall we?
Bella Ack, $4.99. All right, boys. What is the most flirtatious thing you've done as a single man, and did it work or backfire? Don't be shy. Spit those facts out.
Well, that's kind of an After Dark sort of question.
A little bit.
But if any of you guys want to answer that real quick, you can.
We can maybe hold it over.
One more time.
What is the most flirtatious thing you've done as a single man? Flirtatious.
I mean, I've got.
This is why the people show up.
Yeah, seriously.
Like I don't know specifically. Well, there's parts of that I can't answer on this show, but
Yeah, I don't have a great answer for that myself, honestly. Sorry.
I mean, just be nice, honestly. Like, people tell me I come off as flirtatious all the time just by being nice. I'm like, okay, that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's been 18 years since I had to try dating. I've been with my wife for so long, but she and I have been married almost 13 years. We were together 5 years before that, and yeah, I think I always kind of had just the be yourself thing going on. And when I was flirting, I didn't even know I was doing it. I think it'd just be you connect with somebody and you take opportunities when they came. I didn't feel like I ever tried real hard. So yeah, I mean, it's not like I never asked out a girl who said no. And certainly when I was younger, that happened. But yeah, I didn't have like a game or anything. I didn't go clubbing or anything.
Eye contact is really powerful in that regard as well.
Yeah, unless you're me. Because sometimes eye contact could backfire if you're me. Because I have a lazy eye, and I could be looking at a person and like, hi, how are you? And then it's like, she just looks behind her to see who I'm actually talking to.
You do the Miles move from Into the Spider-Verse.
You're just like, hey, and she's like, what? Why are you putting your hand on my shoulder but talking to the dude right behind me? I don't understand.
All right. TH1, Cap is analysis, DJ is art, Brandon is culture. What does Dan represent in the Geekpocalypse? You're the best on YouTube, Pitch, and X-Men Disney Plus show. You rock. So Dan, two very different.
Yeah, way to get a bunch of stuff in there and a compliment. Thanks so much. Really appreciate the kind words.
Sandwiched in.
Dan is legality.
I am the law.
What do you want to represent, Dan?
That works fine for me. I'll be legality.
I'll be the law. I'll be Judge Dan.
I was thinking like one of my favorite like corny line readings of a voice acting in anything is the monologue that the voice actor who plays Batman in Dark Knight Returns, the animated movie, where he's like talking, he's like, tonight I am the law. Like, this is the worst ever, but it's so funny.
Was it funnier because it was the worst?
Yes.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So it works in its favor.
Dan, I know you've gone to law school in order to be a lawyer, but would you have ever considered the judge track?
Potentially. I mean, it's just being the tracks are similar. It's just a matter of getting a lot of experience and like in many cases, depending on what state you're in, having political connections, because some of them are elected, some of them are not, some of them are appointed. So
yeah.
It depends on like what state you live in and stuff. The track is kind of different, but maybe someday.
The state I live in is denial.
Oh,
good one. All right, let's keep going, Brandon.
If Dan could just react to all of Brandon's jokes in the future, like, oh, that would be amazing.
So yeah, Dan, every time Brandon says something really cliche we've all heard 150 times, I want you to pretend like it's the first time you've ever heard it and like you're noodling it really hard.
There's always going to be people out there who maybe it is the first time they've heard it.
Every joke is someone's first joke.
No, there's not, Brandon.
That's true. That's a Stan Leeism.
Yeah, and I never bought into it with that, and I don't buy into it with this either. When Stan Lee is like, every comic is somebody's first comic, I'm like, nah, Spawn 43 is nobody's first comic, okay? It's not true. All right, go ahead, Brandon. I mean, DJ.
Take us away, Brandon.
Go ahead, Brandon. Make up a question, Brandon. Sorry.
Well, we got to answer the second part of
it. We have
his,
so many people here. I can't keep them all straight.
It's a X-Men Disney Plus show. We got to answer that part.
Oh, that's right. My answer's not going to be interesting at all. I would just want an X-Men Disney Plus show. Like, I think it would almost be better there than having movies. We've talked about this quite a bit on the show. If it had to be like an offshoot thing, I don't think it would be bad to just take any of the other like X teams, like secondary teams, do an X Factor show or a Gambit in the External show, or there's all kinds of different things that you could do.
I think we should do Dark Phoenix 3.
The series.
Yeah.
I know Dan would probably love a Nightcrawler show.
Yeah, Nightcrawler's my favorite X-Men character. X-Men character. But I also like Cyclops a lot. I want something to. Those are like my two favorites. I want something well done with Cyclops in something, because in the previous movies we don't do much of anything with him in any of them.
Even though he's been recast twice, it still
Yeah.
has never helped.
Yeah, and in like the newer movies, he has like cool costumes and stuff, but like he barely even says anything.
He feels less utilized than he did before, and I didn't think that was
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we mix it up with the new MCU cast and like Cyclops and Jean are the two main characters. That'd be great.
So you want the adventures of Cyclops and Nightcrawler, the show?
Sure, that'd be great.
You'd call
Yes,
it BAMF.
That'd be a great title for a show.
I don't even know if we're joking. That could be a cool title for a show. All right, let's keep going, shall we?
Super Billy, $2. Star Wars is just the original trilogy for me. That's it. That's all I got. That's all she wrote.
Well, hey, you could totally just throw your opinion out there. That's totally cool. I get why you feel that way. I get weird about the prequels because I don't like them. Dan and I have talked about this 100 times, but I like the atmosphere and the world creation going on in Episode 1, and I'm nostalgic for that world, even though I don't like any of the characters in it, which I don't think I have that with anything else. So I can't throw that away. I can't, and I'm not a Clone Wars fan. I don't care about any of the other stuff, peripheral with that, or at least I haven't tended to. There's a couple comic things here and there that I've read that have been fine, but I'm not a fan of anything else beyond that. So I get why you feel that way. With the newer stuff, like Dan and I were talking about earlier, I like Force Awakens fine until what happened with all of that, because I see that as a first act that didn't get an act 2 and 3. But I also like Rogue One a lot. I think it's really good, and yeah. So I think there's other good Star Wars stuff. If we're just talking movies.
Cool. And then Super Billy put in another $2 Star Wars super chat. He said, Return of the Agenda. Return of the Agenda?
Return of the Jedi!
I should have just read ROTJ like he has. Ended with a nice happily ever after bow. Just these
I don't
statements.
mind them doing stories after Return of the Jedi, but with those characters, I just don't like the direction in which they took them. Like, I feel like the reason people say things like, oh, like the Return of the Jedi was a happily ever after ending and like they shouldn't have screwed with it, was only because like what we ended up getting wasn't good. Like I remember, I'm old enough to remember when like Disney announced that they were like, gonna make episode 7. Everyone was pretty excited, and like there have been stories told in the books and the comics with those characters that take place after that. I don't know. I think it could have been cool, but it was just a big missed opportunity, unfortunately. It stinks.
And I don't like it.
Stinks, and I don't like it.
Dan, I really agree with everything you just said, man. It's exactly like the people who have always said you can't do a good Fantastic Four on screen that anybody would care about. They only say that because we haven't had a great one yet. And it's the same people that say, like, I hate to throw this guy under the bus because I really like this guy, Mike from Red Letter Media, but he said this about Star Wars, that there's no more stories to tell. Yeah, because you haven't seen any other good ones on screen. And he said this back when BVS came out. I went back and watched that video again after I finished writing my reviews. He was like, I don't think Superman has to be this dark, but I get that you can't do Christopher Reeve Superman now. I'm like, no, yeah, you still kind of can. I don't agree with that. It's just that we haven't had that type of Superman in a long time on the big screen. Like, something that's easy to forget about with that particular example is when you go back to that movie, Superman is still in by and large a kind of cynical world. It is the 1970s, and he's got a really cynical Lois Lane. Like there's cheesy and corny stuff in that movie, of course, and it's a world that by and large ends up accepting Superman, but it also is kind of the gritty world that the 70s was. Superman just changes it. I think you can still do that, and I think that new CW show is doing that.
I think to be modern, Superman needs to snap people's necks.
That's what all comic book characters do now, and you can't take them seriously until that happens. Like, I think it's funny when we got to a place in New 52 where every Batman villain, no matter who they were, was snapping people's necks. Like, I've said this before. At the point that Mad Hatter is snapping people's necks, I'm like, what are we doing, man? Like, he can't. That diminutive little man cannot be strong enough to do that.
Neck snapping.
Okay.
Okay.
Wakes Sim, $4.99. Brandon, looking dazzlingly today, my friend. What is the craziest thing you all have done while drunk?
Mine was on the Geekvolution Discord.
Oh, I missed that.
Dan, do you have an answer to this?
I don't know if I can, in good confidence, disclose the craziest thing, but
Yeah.
there
Well, you would know you're in law school.
There was a time when I used to play Dungeons and Dragons on the weekends in college with my friends, and we would get pretty drunk. And there was this like thing that the dungeon master was trying to get us to do. He's trying to get us to like trade these gems, and like for some reason I was like, I'm not trading my gem, man, and like wouldn't give it to anyone, and like everyone got pretty upset with me.
That's pretty funny. You need to recreate that in the Discord when you guys do that.
I will.
That
I'm
new
gonna
game.
get them all hammered.
Well, don't invite Cap. Cap's done with that.
Yeah, the only people here that could even answer this question are me and Dan, because DJ drinks a little bit. I don't think you drink enough. That's probably ever happened.
I drank for the first time last year, and I don't think I've ever been like drunk.
Was I there the first time you drank anything, or was it even before that?
It was very, very early before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I knew you had some alcoholic stuff in your fridge, and I was surprised by that because I knew you didn't drink. And then you drank a little bit with me while I was there, and I was like, this is new. I don't know if he's just doing this because I'm here or if he's actually drank before.
Both.
I got drunk at a Discord party, and I like we were just having a good time. And Dan, you were there for that, were you?
I was, yes.
Yeah, I don't remember much of it, but we were playing a video game. What was that, Dan? Remind me. What is that thing called? It's Quiplash.
Yeah,
Oh,
Quiplash.
Quiplash.
Was what it was.
Yeah, we were doing that. Okay, bye, Dan. We'll see you later, buddy. So we.
It's going to get drunk.
Closing the window because it was getting windy.
So we were doing.
ASMR.
So we were doing that, yeah. So we were doing that, and I had a bottle of whiskey with me, and we were being silly, so I started drinking a little bit, and I ended up like I just wasn't paying attention to how much I was having, and I guess I hold my liquor pretty well, and then I forget how much I've had, and I drank like a quarter to half of a bottle of whiskey in like less than an hour, and yeah, it was bad. I was saying all kinds of crazy things, and everybody was very entertained by it. That's all I'll say. It was a weird night.
I will say, when we went to Jamaica was it last year? I think it was last year. We went to Jamaica, and it was all inclusive, so they gave you as many drinks as you want. And I had a bunch of cranberry vodkas at dinner, and then we went to like this show afterwards with like fire dancers and everything, and then they called people up onto the stage, and they grabbed me and pulled me up on stage, and I went willingly, which if you know me at all is not at all what I would do. So I guess I was a little drunk that night because I went willingly, and we had to like sing and like we had to like make animal noises in front of the crowd, and I had Monkey. And like they put four of us like competing against each other, and then I did like some flips to try to get people to, because it was like it was won by clapping, but I was very enthusiastic, and my wife recorded it and she has it on tape. But don't ask her for it, Kat. So yeah, I think that's the craziest thing I've done.
I wish DJ. I wish you'd left it. I wish you'd left it at where you were a minute ago. I wish you just said the craziest thing I ever did when I was drunk was I came willingly onto the stage. That's what I did.
Yeah, I was alarmed for a minute. I was like, whoa, where are we going?
Well, yeah, but he had a big pause after that. I thought it was really funny.
Sorry, I apologize. Let's get on. Let's move on. 5590 ERS. If you were a superhero in the Marvel Universe, would you sign up for the Superhero Registration Act or join Captain America's side? Ooh, getting political.
Yeah, I mean, like it's very revealing whatever your answer to this ends up being. I feel like I always fall more on the Captain America side. But where are you at on that, Dan and DJ?
I've never thought about it like if it were real and if it was me making the decision. I'm on Captain America's side in that movie, but I haven't thought about it enough to know if that's where I would actually land in real life.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I like Captain America more as a character than Iron Man. I don't give two craps about Iron Man, so I guess I would join Captain America's side because I actually like him. He's cool.
I just feel like if I'm in that universe, and I always overthink these things. You said real life, but like if the Superhero Registration Act exists in a world like the Marvel Universe where there are superheroes, there are superpowers, be it the movies, the comics, whatever. You saw what Nick Fury and Shield do immediately when they get their hands on an Infinity Stone in Avengers. Like, I don't trust that government. Like, I don't trust them to tell me what to do with my superpowers. If I have the if I have the like Spider-Man philosophy of I have to be responsible with my powers, and like whatever comes up, if I can do something to help people or stop something horrible from happening, and the government says I can't, I'm probably doing it anyway, and that immediately puts me on Captain America's side. So
I completely agree with that statement.
Cool. Super Billy, another $5 super chat. Another Star Wars super chat. Rey is a discount Luke, minus the humanity, relatability, personal struggle, physically and emotionally, and believable character growth.
yeah, later, but it didn't feel like it was starting that way. I felt like there was plenty of places to go with that character initially.
I hope he just keeps not asking questions and just keeps leaving statements in the super chats because I'm getting a kick out of it. It's really great.
John Kelling, Captain Logan, civil discussion.
All right. CM Productions. If you were comparing apples and oranges, which would you eat? Get into the heavy stuff.
Comparing apples and oranges, I'd eat oranges.
Oranges. Yeah, I'm not an apple person.
I like
Apples,
apples all right, but
okay.
I don't like the skin of the apples because they
Yeah.
cut my gums. But other than that, I mean, oranges are the way to go for me.
I love both, but I would I have to go apples, I think, over oranges. Super Billy, back again.
Come on.
$2. Well, I'm just reading the questions, man. Kat, your BVS review is extensive and brilliant. And then he puts in another one right after it. And yet, I feel it only scratches the surface.
I feel that way too. I've been not about the brilliant part. I also agree. I feel like it only scratches the surface. Thanks for that comment, for that compliment. I appreciate it. So it at the end of the day, it is going to be close to 6 hours, and I'm going to have a supercut of that up probably next week. So if you're on a long card ride and you want the whole thing, I'm going to cut out the breaks in between and have the entire thing up there for you. I keep thinking of things I wish I had said. Even after writing as much as I've written, it's ridiculous. Because I'm working on Justice League right now, and I keep thinking of things I want to talk about in Justice League where I'm like, I should have mentioned this in the BVS review. So I'm gonna have a hard time not. There it goes again. I'm gonna have a hard time not. You know what? If you weren't here, that wouldn't happen, Brandon. It's all your fault. I feel like it's gonna be hard not to just keep reviewing BVS in the Justice League review. I'm gonna try really hard not to do that.
What if you go back later and make the captain's cut?
Well, I'm not going to add more things to it.
Well, that seems to be what they do now. The big studios, anyway.
DGMC, $5 super chat. Which Schumacher film would you have been more interested in seeing? A Batman Year One prequel in 1995 or a Dark Knight Returns with Keaton in 1999/2000?
Oh, that's impossible to answer. 99 with who? What do you suggest?
99 with Keaton. That would be the Dark Knight
Both with
Returns, and
Keaton.
then 90.
Okay.
And then
I feel like Keaton as an actor is going to play the older Dark Knight Returns Batman better than the younger Year One Batman. And so I think I have to say that. just because I think the casting is better for that.
Couldn't they recast if they were doing a prequel though?
Well, no, absolutely they could. I'm just answering the question the way it was asked. He was like,
Well, he didn't say Keaton for 95. He said Keaton for the Returns one.
Okay, that's what I was asking you. I thought he said Keaton for both. I missed something in that question.
Yeah, he didn't give an actor. He just said a Batman Year One prequel or Dark Knight Returns with Keaton.
Or Dark Knight Returns with Keaton. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you're because I feel like you'd have to recast it. Yeah, if you're recasting, I'm gonna lean more toward Year One just because I personally kind of like that story better. Just for my own personal taste. I don't even know that it's a better story. I just think I just prefer reading it. But I think that it's easier to make that a shorter 2-hour film than it is to do Dark Knight Returns. And obviously you can build on it, whereas Dark Knight Returns is kind of the end of something. So yeah, I definitely would say Year One if we're not if they don't both have to be Keaton.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to imagine if Michael Keaton would even be the right casting for that version of the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially only 10 years later.
Yeah, exactly. I guess, I mean, I like Dark Knight Returns more of the two of those stories, but I guess Year One I would probably end up being a better movie if you could recast and like do your own thing with it. Like especially with Schumacher's style. You know what I mean? I don't know if Schumacher's the right guy to make Dark Knight Returns necessarily.
No, and I think he would have been.
Might be able to make his own a little bit more, you know.
If you look at the stuff he was making in the '80s, if you look at Flatliners and stuff like that, like he was absolutely the guy to do Year One. That's what he wanted to do. I think it would have been wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm with you. He's not who I would even have directed Dark Knight Returns. He wouldn't be stylized enough, and you could say like Batman Forever is sort of stylized, but not like that. I mean, he's
not in the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. And I'm with you about Keaton also. I always wanted to see Adam West play it. And I don't care what anybody says, I think he absolutely could have. And I think it would have just been wonderful. But I also still really like the idea of Keaton coming back and doing the elderly Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond. And he's old enough to do it now, but like that version of an older kind of crotchety Batman, I think is better for that actor than Dark Knight Returns, than Miller would be. And I think Affleck was perfect casting for Miller's Batman, if only that was the movie we had made.
I agree with everything you just said.
Cool. Daddy Longlegs, $5. Thoughts on the comic Invincible being adapted for Amazon Prime?
Sadly, I don't know enough about Invincible. I've seen stills of what that animation is going to look like. I think there's I've seen the trailer too. It looks really cool. I don't know enough about Invincible to talk about it. What little I do know, it looks really authentic and it looks absolutely off the page. And it's super cool that they're making that. I know Eric's really excited about it because it looks like they're going to do what a lot of animes do, and they're just going to make the book. So that's great, and I will try to watch it if I can remember to watch it. Because there's just so much stuff always vying for my attention. But yeah, I'm really glad they're making that.
Yeah, I'm hoping it turns out good. I mean, I've never read any of the Invincible comics either. But I really like the Amazon adaptation of The Boys. That's like one of my favorite shows. So I'm hoping that I think Kirkman's involved with this. So I'm hoping his involvement along with, what Amazon's generally been doing with the superhero properties they have. I'm hoping it turns out good. Because you liked The Tick, too. That was another one that
Tick's amazing. Everybody needs to watch that show, or at least the first season.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
The second is sad because it ends on not just a cliffhanger, but every cool mystery that they set up in the first season, nearly, they didn't wrap up at all in the second, which is really, really sad. But yeah, they tend to let creators go off and do what they want to with them, and so Edlund seemed to have pretty well carte blanche in that show. It may be that wasn't the case and he made a great show anyway, but it sure watches like he kind of had his druthers with that, which is good. So I'm sure they're doing the same thing with Kirkman. Interestingly, when they did the big 100th issue Tick releases, they did some crossovers, and one of them was Tick and Invincible. So Tick and Invincible have been in a comic together.
That's awesome.
Wow. Maybe they'll bring Tick back for a crossover in that show.
It would be nutty if they did an animated Tick ever in that show. Because what I would want to see, and I don't know how they wouldn't have the rights to it, what I would love to see is them just bring back the animation style of the Fox show wholesale and just integrate it with their animation. That would be the coolest thing. That'll never happen, but that would be the coolest thing.
Another super chat from Daddy Longlegs. We need a series overview of Spectacular Spider-Man, Cap. It's the best iteration of the character outside of comics. The PS4 game is a close second.
Yeah, I agree that at some point I need to talk about Spectacular. We've talked about it forever. Dan and I have kicked around doing a series on it. We just have never gotten to it. We've both been busy. So, yeah, someday, hopefully. I don't know if I would do it myself. I mean, I'd rather do it with Dan. But, yeah, one of these days, hopefully.
One of these days.
One of these days!
5590 ERS 199. Dan, what is your favorite version of the Hulk? So none of us can answer this. Only Dan.
I like my favorite comic version of the character is the Peter David version, but there's also been some other runs that are good that have different takes on it, like the Immortal Hulk, which is the current run going on now. I think is amazing, and it does some things that are different from what Peter David does, but it like does some of the same thematic things. I think it's really interesting. In terms of like the movies and stuff, I think Ruffalo is my favorite. Like his performance in the first Avengers movie, especially. I think maybe it might be just the way Whedon writes the character, but he gets what I like about him in that movie, and I think that vanishes largely after he leaves. But I also like the 70s television show version too. That's like a very close second for me. I have like a lot of nostalgia for that show because I used to watch it with my mom. So I like all of those versions. The Hulk's one of my favorite characters.
Well, I know you said nobody else could answer, but I'm going to say a thing real quick, okay, because my name's in the title, so I'm going to take my prerogative. I'm going to do it. Dan, I like Norton a lot, and I just wish that he'd gotten some maybe different material. Like that movie was a real mixed bag, but I like him in that role quite a bit.
I like Norton a lot too, and I think he's the closest we've gotten, like in terms of like the physical look to Bruce Banner from the comics. Like I think he's pretty right off the page, which is cool. And he's a great actor. I feel like if he got to make the movie he wanted, in terms of like what he wanted the script to be, I think it would have been closer to what I like about the character. He wanted to go like psychological and a little bit more of a horror bent like the TV show was. So I think that would have been great if he had more freedom to do that kind of stuff potentially.
Yeah, all that mental illness allegory in that is really, really good. It's just a very confusing plot, and Hulk is just too darn green. But yeah, I also really like the first 12 issues of Jason Aaron's run. It gets not good after that, but that first arc is really, really good.
It is really good. Yeah.
Anyway,
John Ty, $5 super chat. What are your favorite underrated superheroes from the big two?
Underrated. See, these kind of questions are very difficult for me to answer these days because I feel like everybody's getting their due now and nothing feels as underdone as it used to. What immediately jumps to you guys' mind? Oh, they can't help me.
I mean, my go-to has always been Doctor Strange. He's one of my favorite characters, and he had very limited adaptations outside, in other media and stuff before the movie came out, but he's getting more exposure now. So I don't know if he's technically underrated anymore, but like for a long time, that was my answer.
I guess I'll go with one of my staples and say Cassandra Cain, and really a number of Bat Family characters, but yeah, especially her. And I've always wanted to see a big budget adaptation utilizing her or just her on her own. And that character showed up in the Birds of Prey movie. It's not that character at all. I really want a mute Cassandra Cain at some point. I think it would be so cool. Just the idea of a character who was raised, and this is so interesting in a Batman thing. Like I love her in a Batman movie, or do like a Batgirl movie. I don't know. First of all, do an actual Birds of Prey thing and have her in there. That'd be cool. But it'd be neat to do like a Batgirl movie that's like a legacy thing where you have Barbara Gordon as Oracle, who's training like a new Batgirl. Maybe there's even like a third one running around that wants to be Batgirl, but nobody thinks that she should have the mantle. You could do a really cool thing thing with all of that. Where you got like, because there's that period around No Man's Land where Helena Bertinelli was trying to be Batgirl, and she ends up becoming the Huntress, but like she puts on a bat costume and she's killing people, and so Batgirl and Batman are not, or Oracle and Batman not okay with this, and then Cassandra Cain becomes Batgirl at the same time. So I don't know. I just thought of this. You could do a 3 Batgirls movie. That could be so freaking cool. Anyway, so yeah, that's my answer. Cassandra Cain.
Almost at the exact same time in the chat, Connor Nielsen said Animal Man needs more love, and then Daniel Davis said Animal Man comes to mind. He should have his own TV show.
Yeah, a lot of people really like him, and he came back into relative popularity with New 52. People really liked that run, but I've never read any of that.
I read the first, I think maybe 12 issues of that series when it was coming out. I read Lemire's whole run because he wasn't on it very long.
I forgot that was who that was. Yeah, that was before I knew who Lemire was, I think.
Yeah, it was one of the because I was like big into trying a lot of the New 52 stuff because I'm generally not a DC person. I like some of their characters, but like their larger line, like their events and stuff, I have trouble caring about. But like I tried some of the early stuff. With that initiative based on creators, and I thought that run was really good. I know Grant Morrison also did work on that character, which is very popular for, I think it was in the 80s.
That was
or
in the 80s, yeah.
90s?
I want to say, wasn't it? Was that the thing he did after Doom Patrol, or was it even before that? I think maybe, or was Animal Man the first thing they brought him on for? I think it might have been.
Sure, because I've never read either of those, but
yeah.
You know that, yeah, you're right. I mean, it was one of the first things he did at DC.
Doom Patrol I've read in Archive because somebody requested that once, and it was great. And it had, and it destroyed Kansas City, which was really cool. That was exciting for me.
Super Billy back with another $5 super chat. Superman and Lois sounds like the ideal show for me as a Supes fan. If only I wasn't the cynical jerk I am now, as evidenced by my previous super chats.
Well, I don't know. Read more good Superman, and then maybe you won't feel that way as much. Maybe you'll have more hope for the future or whatever. Or maybe you'll just be more sad that it's not that way in real life. I don't know if I can help you, but if you've not tried that show, but if you've not tried that show, give it a shot. I just think it's wonderful.
Bella Ack, back again with another pickup line for Brandon. $4.99. Love you, Brandon. You're a good guy, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
Hypothetically, if I sent a $500 super chat, would you, as the 4 Horsemen, do a live show shirtless? Absolutely.
No, I would never do that.
You wouldn't?
No.
For $500?
Especially if I have to split it 4 ways.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't do that.
Me and Brandon will do it. It'll be a duo.
Dan, and for that, I give you 100.
After Dark gets more after darky.
And you'll be happy with that.
And you're lucky to get that.
And you're lucky to get that. I missed the part where that's my problem. Okay, let's keep going.
Keep going with the quotes, or
no, with the questions. The quotes will come as they come.
John Kelling, why does it seem like Hawkeye's the good luck charm for the MCU Avengers? Things only go bad when he's not a part of the team. # Team Hawkeye.
It's actually a really good point. I never thought of that, but that's true. It's all mind controlled, and then there's an alien invasion, and then he gets. Well, I mean, I say that like, no, you're right, because he wasn't around when the blip happened either. So he went nuts because of that, but he wasn't around when it happened. No, that's actually a really good point you're making.
I'm hoping that Hawkeye TV show they're making is really good because I like Hawkeye in the comics a lot, but the movie version gets some like interesting stuff in Age of Ultron, and that's it. Like they don't really do much with him. He's just kind of action bow and arrow man,
Action.
And he even has a line about that in Age of Ultron. Like he's like, "That's all I do. I'm just action bow and arrow man." Like he might as well say that line.
Yeah.
Now Ultron was, of course, kind of a horrible thing that happened, and he was around with that. But
in fact, he was there when
that's
it
the
happened.
exception that proves the rule.
He was absolutely right. Whatever that means. Okay, let's keep going.
All right, Super Billy, another $5 super chat. The existence of Supes and Lois destroys any chance of my 1930s set Smallville reboot getting off the ground. Just delusional wishful thinking, I guess.
Well, I mean, I don't want to burst your bubble, but I don't think that's what does that. I just don't think that would have ever happened regardless. You're not going to get a TV period piece set in the 30s, and even if you did, I don't want the CW to make that show. If Max was doing it, maybe, but
You'd have to have that on public television.
The best chance you'd ever have at a period piece set at the time that Superman came out is maybe a one-off movie like Joker or something. But yeah, that was never going to happen on television.
I'm just picturing like some CW executive in a meeting, like, what'll appeal to our preteen girl audience? The 1930s.
Yeah, especially right now, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even if they made it in the 1930s, it wouldn't be the real 1930s. It would be like a highly idealized version of the 1930s.
It would. Yeah, well, I can see why a person would want that and why that might be fun, but
I mean, like, does anyone really want to see a show during the Great Depression?
Yeah, no kidding.
On the CW? Come on.
No, not on the CW, but to the credit of that idea, if you took Superman, because I would think you would want to be as pure and authentic as possible. So if you went back to the CW, wouldn't be that. I'm just saying that this guy asking for this, I'm gonna assume that the only reason you would want that is because you'd want to go back and see Superman the way he was when he at his inception, which would be more of a like Crusader vigilante Superman, and that could be really fun to look at. And also you could work with a smaller budget because you could go real pure and you could have a Superman that doesn't fly. You could have a Superman that just jumps high. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things you could do with that.
I think if they were to do that, it would be cool for them to adapt like Grant Morrison's first couple arcs on Superman, like from the New 52 stuff when they redid the origin where he's in blue jeans and jumping around and stuff when he's a social crusader again.
Absolutely.
I like that stuff a lot. That stuff was great.
No tights, just jumps.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, DJ.
CM Productions. Which fictional character would you take as your lawfully wedded wife?
Which fictional character would we marry?
I don't think I should answer that question.
Well, there's many other Sarahs.
Anywhere?
Right? Like you have
it would have to be another Sarah. It would have to be another fictional Sarah. Yeah.
Sarah
You already have a bunch of fictional Sarahs that you like.
I know I do. I've got Sarah Lance. I've got Sarah from Virtua Fighter. Yeah, I know. I'm a weird, crazy person. That would be my answer. Be Sarah from Virtua Fighter. She's awesome.
That's Brandon. You want to take it away?
I'm trying to come up with a good one. Honestly, Amy Pond maybe from Doctor Who.
Oh sure, yeah.
Can we say Gwen Stacy from Amazing 1 because she's awesome?
Well, yeah. I think you can. I think if it's fictitious,
I was thinking that also.
And female, I think you can pick it. Yeah.
I like Mary Jane from the Spider-Man comic books. She's my favorite love interest, so I pick her.
Look at that. Y'all had an answer. Surprising.
Yeah, I felt like I probably shouldn't answer that, but you asked it, so I went ahead and answered that. You guys don't have to worry about it. You're not married. I mean, I know Dan's got a girlfriend, but at least you're not married. Well, DJ's married.
Yeah, but we're happily married, so I don't think she would care about me answering that question.
Yeah, I guess
Super Billy.
I guess my wife wouldn't either.
Super Billy, $2. Sorry for berating you guys tonight. Enjoy my money. Oh no, man, we appreciate it.
I'm insulted, sir.
No, thanks for the comments. We
appreciate it. No, I mean, the only reason I ever feel weird about that is when somebody will leave a super chat and then it's just a statement. So like I'll try to rack my brain to come up with a way to turn it into a question so we talk about it for a while. But sometimes you can't do that. So it's like, okay, I mean, we appreciate the $5, but we're just gonna read this for 10 seconds and move on. But yeah, thanks a lot. We sure appreciate it. Moving right along, sir.
Lightning City 499. Who would be the best director for a Batman psychological horror film set in Arkham, and how would you want the film to be played out and end?
Could you read every question like that? They all just start, how and why?
Sorry, there was no punctuation, so every time I thought I was going to get a break, I didn't, so I had to keep going.
That was an impression of something. I don't even know what it was.
Just voice cracks in the middle of every sentence.
I want that movie. I've always wanted to see that. I think it'd be really cool to do a Who's Who Rogues Gallery movie with Batman descending into madness or trying to keep his sanity. The big question of is he in Arkham because he belongs in Arkham? I mean, all the stuff we did with the Arkham Asylum game. But even though that's a good story, that's one of those rare exceptions to my if it's a good narrative in a video game, I don't know that there's a point of adapting it. That you could really streamline and drop down and make it an hour and a half, 2 hour distillation, and that could be just absolutely wonderful. Nobody immediately comes to mind director-wise. Maybe the guy who did Oz? That guy?
Is that
Peel?
Peel
But that
guy?
that guy. That's the first thing that comes
Yeah.
to mind. I mean, I like his style. I like what his stuff looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. DGMC, $5. How about Johnny Depp playing the younger version of Keaton's Batman in 1995's Year One? Same size, Depp could draw in the MTV generation WB wanted.
Yeah, that in '95 that could have maybe worked. I wouldn't have ever thought of Depp for Batman.
I mean,
Yeah, I feel like you could
I'm
do
not
it.
Batman.
Not then as much though. And he's already got his history with Tim Burton and all that. I can totally see why you'd go there. Okay, moving right along.
John Ty, $5. Dan, thoughts on the new X-Men titles after House and Powers of X?
I have not read any of them yet, so
I haven't either.
my thoughts are that the first there are 2 6-issue series, but it's one big story. The 12-issue intro to Jonathan Hickman's run is amazing, and I just haven't read further yet, but I plan to at some point. So
Same here. I almost threw that out when we were talking about runs we like, and I haven't read any of the rest of it, so I didn't mention that. But it's amazing because, Dan, it's funny the number of people that I know that have just read that lead-in stuff and haven't looked at any of the stuff after it. It's crazy how well it reads as its own piece. I don't mean to say that I don't want to keep going or I don't need to keep going, but at the same time, I feel like I read a piece.
yeah, I think it's really good kind of world building and stuff, and I'm very intrigued as to where it goes further. It's just I feel like there's just so many books. There's 7 of them or something. Hickman doesn't write all of them, obviously, but I'm kind of the way that world is set up, you're tempted to read all of them. It's that good,
Yeah, and I don't have time to do that, and I don't know which ones yet are supposed to be really necessary and which ones aren't really good and worth reading, because I'm sure they're not all great. But maybe, I don't know. But it started, you're right, I think it started with 7 and then it turned into 11. There's even more of them now.
Oh, Jesus. Well,
Those are his thoughts.
In the words of Jim Carrey, that's just what I said. Okay, let's move on.
Does anybody know how to read this next super chat from Nicholas? I'm assuming it's a quote that I don't know,
Is it
but
in
it just
Does
says,
Kryptonian?
anybody know how to read?
it just says squaw, really stretched out.
That's what it says.
Is that a quote? I don't know what voice I should put on when I read it.
You should do that squeaky voice.
I couldn't begin to tell you why he
Try a
wrote
few
that.
different voices. See what happens. See what sticks.
I mean, is that the squaw from Peter Pan?
I don't know, it was way after we had that conversation, so...
Squaw, no firewood. Big Bad Harv, 95, $5.
Hey, that's a great name. Welcome, man. I recognize that name. That's awesome.
Yeah, welcome. I'd love to see Edward Norton return as the Maestro version of Hulk as part of a multiverse adaptation of future imperfect storyline. Thoughts?
I'm not real excited about, as we talked about before, the whole having to bring in characters from other Spider-Man movies. I hope that works out really well and they win me over on it. If we have to do the multiverse thing with other things, that would be one of the things I would love to see. I don't see Norton doing that, but yeah, if we have to go to that place, that is one of the few things that I would want to see. Certainly.
Yeah, the Maestro Hulk story is one of Peter David's best. It's really good. So I would like to see them, do an adaptation of that. It'd be pretty cool. And having Norton in it, and as a serious version of the Hulk, and not be, bumbling stoner Banner, that'd be great. I'd love to see that. you know?
That's why I'm saying if it had to come, like, if we can't just full on recast and it had to be a character from another dimension, that would be a reason to do it, because I'm done with that Hulk. I mean, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm done with Mark Ruffalo playing himself, and then, you know,
I don't think he likes it either. I think he's one of the few actors that kind of sees what he's doing as like he's on a CW show, where he's like, I'm just doing what they're telling me to, whatever. Because you know, there's that famous quote when they were making Ragnarok, where he looks at what's his face, Thor, and he's like, are we yeah, and he's like, is this okay what we're doing here? Are we screwing up everything? And like, that's what they've run off and continued to do. And like, I don't think that's his fault. I think he's doing what he's told to do.
Yeah, he specifically asked him if they were ruining the characters, and he was like, "Yeah,
yeah." I agree. I think that's so. I don't know. As soon as somebody, and you don't usually.
Yep, we're getting paid millions of dollars to do it too. So
exactly, yeah. Like, I can't blame him, but I think he knows what he's making, and I think it's sad because it's not like the BVS or Justice League thing, where you have all these actors that know that they're making something very strange and they don't necessarily like what they're working on, but they're being paid to do it, so they keep doing it. You have pockets of it in the MCU. You have places where people get wonderful things to do, and like really cool roles and really great dialogue and really great character arcs. Sometimes in the same movie with people who don't. It's very strange.
Yeah. Just kick Hemsworth and Ruffalo out of the MCU and recast him with new versions. Just go away.
I'd be so on board for that.
I just think it's unfortunate for Ruffalo, because I don't blame him for that.
No, I don't either. But like, at this point, it's like,
oh, I think you have to. I don't know what else you do.
Nicholas, back again, $5 super chat. So, pestilence, war, famine, and death. Who's who here?
Didn't we decide that at some point?
We did.
Feel like we did.
At some point we did.
Referring to earlier.
I know, right, when you weren't paying any attention to what the actual question was, right?
Yeah.
So
now we got the actual question.
Brandon just can't open his mouth tonight.
No, he can't. Nope. Yeah, I don't remember who was who.
Yeah, and I don't think they lined up in the graphic I made. I don't remember. Because Dan is war. I think Dan was war, right?
Dan was war. Somebody got pestilence that didn't want pestilence. Was that what it was?
Because I thought I should be the Grim Reaper, death.
Yeah. Well, I made Brandon death in the thumbnail, and then I made Dan war.
DJ was death, and I was famine, or maybe that was flipped. I cannot remember. I want to be death. Death. Just saying that your death is awesome. Hi, I'm death. Hi, I'm death, and I should have been in the MCU. Gosh darn it.
You sound like you're going to like an Alcoholic Anonymous.
Hi, my name is Death, and I'm a kill people-aholic. Hi, Death.
Hi, my name's Death, and I was left out of the MCU.
In
John
favor
Kelly.
of relatability. I'm sorry, go ahead.
John Kelling, $5. I bet Ultron would have won if Clint isn't there. Also... Right, he wasn't a part of the team. The Avengers are splintered. He says it himself in Civil War.
Well,
he's really on this theory about Lucky Rabbit's Foot Hawkeye.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's arguing with you. I think you're right about that.
We're all in agreement.
They're going to reveal in the Hawkeye show that he has the opposite of Black Cat's powers. They're good luck powers.
He's like Domino.
Yeah, there you go.
His show is going to be about how like the whole world is on fire because he's not with the Avengers, and he spends the entire show trying to get back to the Avengers so that the world's not on fire.
Rohit Dohar with the last super chat I have at the moment. In regards to modern Batman runs, where would you rank from least favorite to most favorite between Morrison's run, Snyder's run, and King's run?
Ooh. Morrison, Snyder, and King. So it's tough for me because I haven't read all of Morrison, and I've been saying this for years. I've read probably half of it. I mean, like good chunks of it, but I mean, I've never read all of Batman and Robin. I haven't read all of the the pre-battle for the Cal stuff. So I've read maybe half of R.I.P. but not all of it. So anyway, it's that whole thing is my knowledge of it is spotty. Snyder I've read everything of until he stopped having the main Batman book. And King I've now read everything of. King's definitely at the bottom at the end of the day, unfortunately, because I think the beginning of that run is as good as anything Snyder did in his run in New 52, because I still think Black Mirror is the best thing he wrote, and I think that's better than anything King did, or at least as good as anything King did. So I would have to say Snyder and King are sitting, or not King, Snyder and Morrison are sitting like neck and neck, and then King is right underneath that. So it's probably... Overall, just standard of quality, because I think Snyder bounces around. It's kind of hit and miss. I think I have to put Morrison on top of that. So it's Morrison and then Snyder and then King.
I have read all of Morrison. I have read most of Snyder. I stopped at some point when they started getting really eventy. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I've never read any of Tom King, so if I were to rank the two that I've read, I would put Snyder over Morrison. Morrison is like a little too meta for me. Like, it's very like, look at how many things I know about Batman. Isn't this cool? And you're like, kinda.
Yeah.
And Snyder, I feel like is more consistent, like storytelling that I would want out of a Batman story, I guess. So.
It's funny you say that, Dan. Like, I agree with all of that. I just think one is technically better than the other. It makes it really, you know what I mean? Like, Snyder is much more of what I want, but he's so overwritten toward the end. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Morrison does like meanders a lot too. Like, there's like the Zur-En-Arrh Batman thing from like R.I.P. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
See, I never read that part. I know of it, but I never read that part. And his one got all messed up. Like, at least, I mean, King's turned out to not be the way he wanted it to be either, but at least the other two didn't have to go over, like, relaunches, because the whole Batman Incorporated thing was very, very awkward.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of just in the old continuity, you know?
Yeah, except for the things that they forced it to take for the new continuity, which made it very confusing, and yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird.
It was really weird. But I love Batman: The Return, and I have not the Return, not The Return. What is it? Because that was the one shot, and then was it Road Home? Where you had the different time periods. I don't know what's happening in that book, but I loved reading that. That was a lot of fun. I have no idea what's happening.
Oh, like when he's coming back from the dead?
Yeah, and he has to go through all the different time periods. You have Caveman Batman, and then you have like Pirate Batman, and yeah.
Yeah, that book made no sense to me.
Me neither, but I really enjoyed it.
Batman?
Yeah, he was a caveman,
nice.
and yeah, his personality went between different characters, like going all the way up through history, and it's ridiculous, but
It sounds like it.
I really enjoyed it. That got action figures; they were great.
So speaking of normal folks like us enjoying ridiculous things, Maniac Madness 11 gives us a $5 super chat. Do you believe the divide between critics and audience opinions are based on critics watching media for its artistic merit as opposed to entertainment?
Oh, I think that can happen. I don't think that's always the case.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like there are a bunch of examples where that's happened recently, but it seems to me for the most part, like with most movies that aren't like big budget movies with built-in fan bases, the divisiveness doesn't really exist as much. Like, with like, rom-coms, people and the critics are usually like, oh, this one was good or this one was bad, and it seems to line up to me. I don't know. It seems to me like the big like, blockbuster movies that people are like have rabid fan bases. Those are the ones that are divisive, but I don't really know why. Like The Last Jedi, a lot of critics liked. I thought that movie was terrible. I don't know what they see in it. I don't know what the people that like it see in it, but it's whatever.
To be honest with you, I'm skeptical these days of what a lot of professional critics like standards are. I don't always know what they're even looking at. So what do you say, like artistic merit versus entertainment? Like, I don't know. I see everything across the board. I see a lot of things where it seems like I don't know, where I couldn't pin down why a critic liked a thing that I just could not deal with, or and then but you also have a lot of critics that seem to review the way a lot of armchair basement critics do, where it is kind of just about entertainment value, and I feel like I see that more now than I ever used to, certainly than when I was a kid. It's nice that we've gotten maybe overall a little bit less prudish, but I think some critics have gone too far the other way, where it's like, that was really bright and colorful, had cool explosions, so I give it an A. Like, there are professional critics that review like that.
I mean, Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I give you Ragnarok.
Where it's like, you're not looking at story and characterization or anything. Like, there's a lot of things where it's just like, that looks like a well-made movie, so it's good. I see way too much of this in professional critics now. So I think sometimes it goes the other way. I think sometimes it's the critics that are looking at the entertainment value, and it's the and it's just, you know, the viewers that care more about story. I'm not saying that across the board, but I think that happens too. I think it can be reversed.
Yeah, I feel like critics watch so many movies that they do look at for artistic merit, that when they watch blockbusters, they're like, well, they kind of let loose a little bit, and like, this is made to be for entertainment, so I'll take it on its own terms.
Well, and you want to take things on its own terms, and if the point of it is escapism, sure, but that doesn't mean that the story shouldn't make some kind of sense and have an internal logic. You know what I mean? Unless the whole point is that it's a farce. Like, you're right. I think there are a lot of people who will kind of just sit back and relax and go, this doesn't have to do anything. And I don't know. I don't like that either. But
John Kelling, $2. Who makes your favorite chicken sandwich?
I do. I make a really good chicken sandwich.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll have to try your chicken
but
sandwich
but as far as like going out and stuff, I still like Chick-fil-A. I don't know. They put pickles on their sandwiches. Pickles are great.
Okay, I have to interject here. So Chick-fil-A is probably my favorite, but from like a purely gluttonous standpoint, it's
a place where I like to get fat.
No, but seriously though, when KFC made the Double Down, which, if anybody remembers this, it was a chicken sandwich where the buns were 2 pieces of chicken, and it was stuffed with the Colonel's special sauce and some pepper jack cheese, and it was the most... I would eat the thing, and I would be slower moving afterwards. It was just like, you were just sitting, just like, I'm gonna die after eating this chicken sandwich. It was way too rich. And it's got to be like my all-time favorite chicken sandwich. Just like, it was unbelievable.
Oh my God, I think my liver just fell out of my body listening to you describe that
sandwich. It was an insane chicken sandwich, and I can't believe they ever had the chutzpah to put that out there.
I'm not a big fast food chicken sandwich person. I generally get, like, you know, chicken nuggets or burgers if I go to a fast food place. So, but of the ones I've had, I like Wendy's fried chicken sandwich. It's not bad. I've never had Chick-fil-A or the Double Down, but it's not bad.
That's why you're still alive.
Yeah, I died a long time ago. Don't you worry.
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how you survive some of the stuff that you eat, Brandon. That's great. So, like, the buns were chicken. Like, how's that not the greasiest, grossest thing on your hands, though?
Yeah, it was just chicken. Two. What do you call it? Like
grossness.
Fillets of chicken. What do you call them? Like
chicken breasts.
Yeah, well, yeah, chicken breasts. 2 chicken breasts with the stuff in the middle. Oh, and bacon too. I forgot it had bacon on it.
Of course it does. Of course. It was 5,000
because
calories.
It's American and it had it. You know it. Yeah, the thing was I should find out the nutrition label on that.
Yeah, I want to know how many people it killed.
Well, that's probably why you don't see it anymore. They quietly swept it under the rug. We had too many deaths. People eat the chicken sandwich before they hit the door on the way out. They'd be dead on the floor.
More people died of eating that sandwich this year than fell down staircases. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
You know, that's the thing I love about fast food restaurants. Sometimes, like, every once in a while, they'll, like, understand what they are, which is just like
garbage,
like, terrible slop that people eat because they're like,
and they just go all the way.
I want something quick, or they like really like shitty or crappy food, and
or they get it. And mean, you get addicted to it. I mean, it's designed to be addictive.
Yeah, it's very addictive.
We're going to call it a chicken sandwich, and it's going to make a lot of money. We're just 2 pieces of chicken sandwiching the rest of it.
Like, I remember when Pizza Hut, like, a few years ago, they came out with, like, crust with, like, I remember they mentioned the pounds of cheese that are in the crust. And, you know, like, you put too much cheese in something when you, like, have to inform people how many pounds are in it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a heart attack waiting to happen.
Well, when they have, like, the 36-inch long pizza, and it's like, you know, somebody's buying that for themselves. Just like, come on. No judgment, but like, God, that's a lot of pizza.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to be judgmental either, but that stuff is just and I get why people get addicted to that, and like I don't know, things like that you have to do in moderation. By moderation, I mean twice a year tops, right? Like, but like I was in a place where I eat fast food, you know, way too often because again, it does get really addictive, and you'll get to where you're eating it 2 or 3 times a week, and you're like, why am I doing this to myself? This can't be good.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the ingredients, a lot of that stuff, like, you know, McDonald's McNuggets, like, the percentage of chicken that's in them is alarming. It's, like, not much at all, you know?
Yeah, I was going to say, even Chick-fil-A, which is, like, the best one you guys said, is, like, 60% actual chicken.
What's the other 40%?
You don't want to know.
Like, soy and stuff.
Well, I mean...
I'm waiting for the day that legally it's cracked down on enough to the point where McDonald's has to put air quotes over a lot of the things that they have on their menu, where like they have to say chicken and rib and even burger. I think maybe
there was that old that old rumor going around that KFC changed from Kentucky their logos from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC because they couldn't legally call it chicken anymore. But you know, that's been debunked. But it's my go-to, like, that type of thing.
You
like,
wanted that to
get
be true.
there.
And see, then I want that to be true of everything that I know isn't, where it's like Dunkin' Donuts changed the sign to just Dunkin' because they don't actually have donuts. There's no donuts in those donuts.
Yeah, dude, changing the name to Dunkin' is so stupid.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that was fun. We're going to do After Dark again here in a little bit. And I do mean again. Okay, go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, stay tuned for the Duncan rant and After Dark.
No, we've done it.
$2 from Huntus Zwaz.
Hi there.
Any plans to review all 100 plus issues of IDW TMNT?
Yes, we have total plans to do that, in fact. That is the next thing that Eric and I are going to do when we're finished with Ultimate Spider-Man. I know you guys haven't seen him on those videos in a while. I've been stacking them up to do another week of those. We need to shoot one more before I start posting those again. And we're getting closer and closer to the end of what we're reviewing of that anyway, because we're not going to keep going once it flips over to the Miles stuff, because we've already reviewed some of that before. So we're going to switch over to Ninja Turtles. We reviewed and we're doing the big hardcover volumes, so we're reviewing like 20 issues at a time, and we did, or whatever is collected in those, because Eric has those, he's reading them in print, I'm reading them digital, so I'm just reading whatever number of issues he told me to read, and we've already done the first volume of that back on the old omnibus, so when we come back to that, we'll be doing the second book, and we actually have that recorded into the can already. We're just not going to post it until we get to until we get finished with Ultimate. So not just planned, but already started, and it'll just be a few months before you guys see it. Yes.
That's exciting. I love that stuff. Mr. Roboto, $2. Idea, Foodvolution.
Well, we used to do a food show called Snackvolution. Yeah, nobody watched it, but it was a lot of fun to make. But every now and again, we'll bring that back as a segment and something, but we don't tend to just post them.
And there was the Cooking with Dooms Vince.
Real early on, yeah.
Yeah, that was the best. John Kelling puts in $5 to say the KFC doubled down would have been the downfall of society if it wasn't discontinued.
Well, I mean, I think it was already the downfall of society, and it probably started with that. That's you know what? I'm gonna point to that from now on. Somebody's like, we're living in the after now, but yeah, and it started with the double down. What's the double down? Well, let me tell you a story.
Chicken sandwich that didn't have a bun. Just had
and it has bacon.
Yeah, and it has bacon. Footnote: and bacon.
Hey, Brandon. If
Yes, Cap.
if we're ever talking and I'm talking about how I need to like I've gained some weight, I need to lose some weight. Just tell me that story again, okay?
Yeah, you didn't need to double down. Let me tell
Yeah,
you again
just-
about the double
Yeah,
down.
just tell me that story because then I'll completely lose my appetite and I'll immediately start losing weight just from hearing that story.
I think the joke was kind of, you had to double down on your bets to eat the damn thing.
No. That should be the only thing you ate the entire week. Like,
Yeah, no kidding. I know. That's
That's
the
your
truth.
weekly allotment of calories, but none of the nutrients.
But all of the taste.
All right, I'm gonna go. Oh, never mind. A super chat just came in. John Ty, $2. Thoughts on the last Ronin TMNT comic?
Ooh, I haven't read it yet. I bought the first issue, and this year, as I've talked about before, I have my New Year's resolution where I'm not spending money on myself, so I'm not buying comics right now. So I'll read those things in digital down the road. But yeah, I've not actually looked at it yet. I just have that first issue, so unfortunately, I have no thoughts yet. The art looks really pretty, but I've not read it yet. I wish it was actually Eastman and Laird together working on it, like was advertised, because it was very, very falsely advertised. But like Waltz is writing it, and they're involved in that. They came up with it, but they heralded it as like the big return of those guys, and I hate that because it's not what it is. And it was like hugely popular, sold a bazillion copies because everybody got duped by that, just like they got duped by the death of Donatello, which was not that either. But this was crazier. It was really hard to get your hands on one, and I was really lucky that I pre-ordered it and that my comic shop guy hung on to it for me because I had not been in the shop for a while, and I came in and he was like, you better say thank you because I could have sold this 6,000 times and I held it back for you. So it was really, really nice of him.
I Googled it, and you missed your chance, Brandon. The Double Down came back for 1 month in 2020.
Oh, no!
It says,
would've
in a
killed
year
me.
of ups and downs, it's time to double down.
Oh, I missed this? Oh, my God. It would have been... I would have had it just for the sheer, just been like, going back to my roots right here.
Get on DoorDash.
But
The
Get it
iconic...
during lockdown. Kill
that's what it
yourself
says.
in
It
your
says-
own home.
It says the iconic bunless beast returns to KFC for the first time since 2018, available at KFC restaurants nationwide and exclusively through Uber Eats from the 5th of October to the 15th of November.
Wow. Does it say when it originally came out? Because 2018 seems like too recent for when I had them.
I don't know. I'll do another research montage and get back to you.
I mean, but speaking of chicken sandwiches, though, like, what a chicken sandwich? Like, the chicken just doesn't fit. It's not like other lunch meats. Why would you have a chicken sandwich?
Well, you put lots of. You have an egg sandwich.
Yeah, but like that's
Sliced
flat,
chicken, just
you know?
like turkey.
Like, can we make like a chicken lunch meat where we like
We
mince
do
it
that.
up and-
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's flat chicken
there-
lunch
there
meat.
is?
Yeah, sure.
Oh.
Most people don't
This
do
is
it that
something
way.
I have to check out. I have to check this. I'm apparently not living in the 21st century here.
No, I mean, I'm not trying to make you feel stupid. Like, I never eat
Well,
that, but it is a thing you can buy.
I
I've
mean,
seen
I
it.
have had the double down, so
Probably
I
better
am
answer.
stupid. But
Brandon, have you ever had a crispy chicken sandwich at like Wendy's or something? They make it into like a patty and they
Yeah,
like
it's
fry it.
Pretty flat.
well, but I mean, like sliced lunch meats, like bologna and ham type.
Oh
of
yeah,
thing.
they do that too.
Yeah, you
See,
can do
that's what I haven't seen.
Yeah.
I need to see that.
Go to the grocery store.
I
They
mean-
have it there.
Because think about it, right? Like a turkey is a bigger bird than a chicken,
Right.
and they have sliced turkey lunch meat.
Well, that's exactly what I was thinking of, and I was
Yeah.
just like, this. They should.
So now that we're talking about this, though, I had a thought I've never had before, which is you could take any meat and slice it that thin. I want duck like that.
Although, you know what? You know what I really enjoy.
That is the $20 package of lunch meat.
Have any of you ever had cow tongue?
No, I've not done that.
No.
Delicious. Oh my goodness.
Do you like to have it
is
on a
so
sandwich,
good.
or are you
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it should be thinner? This
I-
tongue should
it's
be a
pretty-
lot thinner, like bologna.
It is that thin. You do slice it that thin, but the problem is that because people want to buy the whole head of the cow, and they don't want to buy it without the tongue. That means to get just tongue, it's super expensive. Because
Oh,
you're basically
interesting.
wasting the rest
Oh,
of the
you've
head at
told
that
me
point.
that. Yeah. His family has a butcher shop. That's why he knows
Yeah.
about that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
In case you're like, why does Brandon know so
Big
much
name in
about
Kansas City.
packed meat?
Big name in Kansas City.
You've still never taken me there. I really want to go.
I know, it's awesome. It's been there since 1946.
In fact, there's something that my wife and I were talking about that she really wanted to get that I told her I was positive I could get at that butcher shop if we ever went.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'll have to ask her about it. But I was like, Brandon will take me out there because he's promised me he'll do that, and I'll get you some of that.
I will definitely take you out there.
I gotta remember what it is. But yeah, remind me because I've always wanted to go. I want to go look at sliced meat. Anyway, what else we got? We're at.
I can take it back to the freezer cases too. You can see them hanging in there.
Ooh boy,
it's crazy.
Can I do a Rocky? So it's we're about an hour and a half in, and we need to get after dark. So let's try to wrap up the super chats pretty quick and go ahead and move on to our next show if we can. Go ahead. So I'm gonna say last call for super chats right now, so that we're not going for a full 2 hours because we need to get to that last show. And I want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out with us. Hope you've had a good time. We'll go ahead and like I said, last call right now. So if you want to put some more in for the next couple minutes, that's cool. But then after that, let's cut them off and finish up the show. Go ahead, DJ.
The last super chat I have is from Mr. Roboto. Does making everyone Superman ruin him as a symbol?
Making everyone Superman? Have we made everyone Superman? I think having Superman at all would be great. There hasn't been enough of that in a long time. We finally got this new show that's doing that pretty well in my mind. But I don't know what he means by making everyone Superman.
If everyone's Superman, no one's Superman.
Like that's the whole theme for Spider-Verse, but we're not doing that with Superman.
Well,
that sums it up.
Another super chat just came in from John Ty. Dan, since you were so thrilled about that last question, Dan, would you rather look like Jar Jar Binks or talk like him?
I saw this online.
Probably talk like him, because looking like Jar Jar Binks is an insurmountable flaw.
I don't know. I was thinking about this earlier, and I was like, at least I could sound smart if I looked like him. I could still sound smart. That might be...
True.
I could be the hottest guy on the planet, and I talk like Jar Jar Binks. It ain't happening.
I picked so this was comment of the stream.
You already are, Brandon.
Last time people have been able to see that question this entire show, which is why he's asking that. Well, actually, that was the same guy, but I think he was asking because Dan hadn't gotten to answer it yet. But yeah, I said I said look like him so that I could still do my job because I would just not go on camera.
Or you could have the most successful geek channel on YouTube.
Yeah, I was about to say something similar. Yeah, or you would go on camera. Trust me, eventually.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
I actually do a really good Jar Jar Binks impression, so I wouldn't need that. I could like being able to go back and forth between them. That's what you want.
Do you look like what Jar Jar Binks would look like if he was real, or do you look like the terrible JarJar Binks from episode 1?
The terrible one from
Keep in
episode
mind the
1.
time
You
in
actually
which that
look-
was actually made.
You look
too.
all like flat and
Oh, I think that CG holds
Colorless?
up surprisingly well for 99.
Yeah.
but you're a graphic artist, so what the hell do I know? But
Well, I mean, he's got a scrutinous eye. Like I could tell you who's playing wrong notes in their playing it. Like a lot of people though wouldn't be able to tell you. So, to each their own in their art. So I get it on that hand, but I still think the CGI holds up okay. But I've seen hyper realistic drawings of Star Wars characters. Yeah, I don't know about Jar Jar.
we have
maybe.
DJ, we have not picked a comment of the stream tonight.
if not, should we just give John Ty it again for the same comment?
No, I'll run back through the super chats later and maybe grab it. Nothing's jumped out at me as this is the great. Like we had a lot of good questions, but nothing was just like, oh my god, that must be comment of the stream.
That is true. Lee, you want to end on a pre-written?
Let's end on a pre-written. That sounds great.
All right, there's some jokey ones. Let me get a serious one here. Here we go. This is interesting. Daniel Davis. Hey, Cap, how do you prefer to plan a sequel? Have it be a solo standalone adventure, or have it further and advance the world that the first film established?
Yeah, I mean, either way, both are great. What you don't want is the same movie all over again. What you don't want is prequel-itis. I think Generally speaking, I mean, I have to say case by case. It just depends on what you did with the first story. I would prefer, because so many things have to be like trilogies these days, if you could get ahead of that and know that's what you're making, right? Like if you're wanting to do an ongoing narrative, and you can do the kind of, you know, episodic serialized thing where it is a movie that stands on its own, but it does further things as it goes along. So again, case by case, but like by and large, what I want to see is either a movie that stands on its own okay, but is more or less the first act of a larger narrative, and then we further that as we go along. I don't think setup films are bad as long as as long as you know that they're trying to continue on, and there's a good chance that that'll happen. It kind of like I'm still crying that Alita is probably never getting a sequel, because that is not a complete piece, and it's probably never going to get a sequel now, and that sucks. But it's also great, you know, to have a really good standalone movie that then somebody goes, well, I've got this great story to tell, so we'll bring it back, as opposed to that made $1 bazillion, so obligatorily we have to bring a thing back. And that's when the 10 or 15 year later sequel is sometimes actually a really good idea. So yeah, it just depends on what was done with that first movie. But anybody else, feel free to jump in. My name is just in that question.
It's only for you.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you generally that it depends on what the first movie was. I think the two things he mentions in the question I don't think are necessarily mutually exclusive. Where it's like a standalone adventure that also, like, you know, enhances the world of the first movie. Like just by virtue of it being a sequel to the first one, even if it's relatively standalone, I feel like the story would naturally like tell you more about the world that the characters are existing in. At least I would think that you were introduced to in the first movie, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I tend to like things that are a little bit more serialized myself than episodic things, but I think there's room for both. Like one of my favorite TV shows is The Twilight Zone, and that's super episodic, but you know, it just depends, I think.
I think a good example of the first thing you said is the original two Hellboy movies, because those are both, you know, very kind of standalone things that are that second movie really opens up the curtain to that world, but you could almost watch that without having seen the first.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's going to do it for us tonight, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a lot of fun chatting with you and at you. We're going to be back in about 15 minutes or so with Captain Logan After Dark. It's going to get crazy. There's going to be some weirdness, so brace yourself for adultness. And adultness with a lowercase a, because we're gonna read the worst thing I've ever seen. We'll just do some general discussion and stuff too. I don't have a big plan for tonight. I mostly just wanted to read that book, and I've got these 4 here, so I wanted to keep it kind of loose and fun. But if you are not currently subscribed to Patreon and you want to keep hanging out with us for that, and you're okay with some potential. Not potential, some definite raunchiness. Pop in with us in about 15 minutes. Patreon.com/Geekvolution, just the $2 tier gets you access to that. I'm going to send out a link in about 5 minutes to Patreon. You'll get that in your email. That'll be for an unlisted show. It will be live. You'll be able to interact with us directly, and we will open up for questions on that show too, if anybody wants to chat about whatever you want to. And some of those more personal things are personal type things. We reserve the right not to answer them, but those are the things that we more talk about on that show. So join us, won't you, in just a few minutes. Guys, thank all 3 of you for being with me.
Thank you for having all 3 of us.
Yes, I concur, good sir.
Do you concur, DJ?
Oh yeah. Thanks a lot, Famine. Anytime.
We'll see you again in just a little bit. I was Captain Logan. That was Brandon Grimm.
It was me.
DJ Martinez.